Good evening, cuties, and welcome to another amazing episode of Inspiring Young Minds. We are at session 28, and today is very important because, we're going to talk about a lot of art and a lot of sand art. And I'm sure you're going to have a great time. And I'm super proud of all of you for sharing all your, activities. And, to see you all just evolve through these weeks has been such a pleasure. So with no further ado, I want to take care of the session right away. Okay, cuties, so we are at session 28. And as I told you, our topic today is going to be of sand art. And I'm sure you're able to see such lovely pictures, right? We have a sand jar where you have a painting done. And then you have a sand sculpture, which is done on the seashore. You can see there is a lot of message given on these sand sculptures. And then you have these sand paintings where you can just put glue over the cardboard and, strew some sand and make beautiful artworks. So let's understand a little more about all these and work out on them, right? So sand painting is also called as dry painting, and this is a type of art which exists in very highly developed forms, especially at the Navajo and the Pueblo Indians of the American Southwest, and you can see them in simpler forms among the several plains and California Indian tribes. And many of us, whenever we go out to the beach, I'm sure we all have so much of fun, wetting our feet in the water. And after that, we love to take some water and put it on the sand and make sand castles, right? So sand art is a practice of modeling sand into a very artistic form, such as a sand brushing, sand sculpture, sand painting, or sand bottles. A sand castle is a type of a sand sculpture resembling a very miniature building, which you can just do. And many a times we always do a castle because, we feel like we're the queens and kings and prince and princess, right? And this drip castle variation is when you take a wet sand and then you just keep dribbling it down, and this forms organic shapes before the sand dries, and this looks very beautiful. Again, you could try that next time when you go to the beach. Most of the sand play takes place on a sandy beach, and this obviously needs sand and water. And sometimes we also make some sand pits and we try to get inside that. And tidal beaches generally have sand that limits the height and the structure because of the shape of the sand grains. Some of the grains are too fine that they don't make it does not become sticky. And the good sculpture sand is somewhat dirty, and this has a little bit of silt and clay. And that is the reason you can see these sand locking together because of the irregular shaped grains. And this is very important, again, whenever you're planning to do a huge sand sculpture. Sand castles are typically made by children for fun, usually when you go out with your grandparents, cousins, friends, and parents, of course. And these are very, relaxing in nature, especially when you hear the sound of the ocean or the sound of the water, and then you play all this. It takes a lot of time, and it also improves your motor skills. But when you look at the sand sculpture, it is mostly for the adults, and this involves large, complex constructions. And usually there is a message, a kind of a reminder which we try to share, and this creates a kind of an awareness amongst the public. The largest sand castle made in the contest was 18 feet tall, and the owner, who's Ronald Claudio. He is a 5-foot high man, but he makes sculptures of really larger in size, and he used various different types of ladders to get this job done. And sometimes, there are tons of sand and tons of water which is used to sculpt these sand sculptures. And some of the variations of the sand castle is the drip castle, as I told you, and some call it the technique as a dribbling technique. And you can see it creates a kind of a 3D, very realistic kind of a picture, an artistic way of looking at it. And when the slurry of the sand water lands on the existing sand sculptures, this effect is called the goddess technique. So this is very important. You can see here a small child, trying to get some water, and every drop of water is so precious. So they say, save water and save life. But when you and I go and play, how do? We generally take our shovels and our buckets. So many a times when you go to a toy shop, you will see these, clay toys, and you will see these plastic toys, wherein you can actually put this sand and water and make them into shapes and push it inside. And then you can create some beautiful, kind of shapes with that. It generally helps children understand the different types of shapes and fun with learning, basically. And this also gives them a time out from their usual bookish kind of a knowledge, right? And many a times they also add color to the sand, and this becomes very, very interesting, because when you add color, there is a lot of fun with colors, so children learn the different types of colors too. And a popular game is built on heaping of the sand as high as possible to withstand this upcoming tide. And here you can see a very cute kid playing with the grandfather. So this is again when you can use these sand paintings and sand sculptures, especially when they pour it into some mold. And this mold, when upturned, especially for small children, it really helps them. And when you want to make a sand painting, you can actually put some glue on a cardboard. See, generally when you go have a birthday cake or something, you will have a cardboard which is predominantly a little hard in nature. So you can put a chart over it, or spread some canvas and put some glue on it and put these colored sand on it. And then, you can create beautiful structures and beautiful pictures out of that. And then you brush the rest of the sand away. So only the sands which actually stuck onto the cardboard or the canvas would be there. And this is commonly done in areas where the sand is very fine and it is dry. Only then you can mix it up with colors. And many a times there is something called, where you take a white board and you have a light beneath it, and then you just strew some sand and create some beautiful story. Now, these stories could be, a continuation of a storytelling also. So through this sand therapy, you can actually create and weave a lot of stories. Many a times there is also something called sand play, wherein, you have a kind of a rectangular your box where you place a lot of sand, and small children, they take their miniature toys. It could be anything, and they start playing with it. Some take the cars, some take some plants, some takes animals, some take some fictitious characters, and they place it on the sand, and they keep telling stories or sharing stories. Now, this predominantly brings about the inner creativity of these children, and it is very important for us to bring out the best in these children. So using these kind of techniques, we're able to understand the inner thought process of a child, and we are able to heal a lot of children, especially as a psychotherapist. And sometimes we use these mini shovels, rakes, and buckets, and these basically help the child understand between the hand and eye coordination. So sand is basically a toy, and the less the toy does, the more a child would learn, wherein you have a lot of imagination cropping up. So this promotes and encourages creativity and imaginative play, sensory and language skills also. So when you start telling stories, there is a lot of voice modulation happening. There's a lot of imagination. There's a lot of characters which come into your mind, and also improving your language skill, as in speaking well and trying to communicate better. So let's get started, children. What are we supposed to do? Let's draw a picture on a small piece of paper and add some glue onto that and put some sand over that and leave it to dry for a few minutes. And then you can shake off the extra sand, and then probably you can take your paints and color them. Or you could use the colored sand also. You can create any pattern of your choice. And it is so much of fun to just, enjoy the sunny weather and take out a lot of your beach tools and start playing with them, right? What are the key benefits of sand art, especially for very small children? So it strengthens color recognition. As I told you, when you add color, it helps children understand color. It develops fine motor skills with gripping and squeezing of the hands. It promotes self-confidence and independence. It enables children to make choices. It creates a very exciting experience. Children generally love outdoors, and when you go outdoors and when you play with them, it really helps them live a life. And many a times we have heard doctors tell that you should walk bare feet on the sand beach, so that those grains give you a lot of connection with Mother Earth. And hence this tranquility, it reduces the stress levels, and it gives a nice kind of a feel, especially listening to the sound of the water on the background. This also provides opportunities for exploration and experimentation. It's a sensory, immersive, and a very calming experience. It provides an outlet for creativity and imaginative play. And the play can also help children develop social skills like problem solving, sharing, and communicating. Sand play offers a limited amount of space and toys for children to share. Especially when you go out with your friends, your cousins, it's fun time to play and, share your tools and have fun again, right? While accomplishing goals that they set for themselves, like they're building castles. So you could have many castles built, and then you could join them, and, you could play with those sand castles, and it's a lot of fun. In India, we have a sand artist called Sudarshan Patnayak, and he is from Puri, Orissa. And in 2014, Government of India honored him with the Padma Shri, India's fourth highest civilian award, for his amazing and wonderful seashore sand arts. And you can see many artists actually come up and do these kind of marvelous sand sculpturing, and it looks so beautiful, children. So what is your activity for this session? You can make your own sand art and share. It could be a sand painting, it could be a sand play, it could be a story you're weaving with your sand, and it could be whatever your creativity tells you to do. And with that, we actually come to the end of today's session. And we at Inspiring Young Minds are always there waiting to bring out the creative best in each one of you. And to watch all our videos, you can actually like, share, subscribe, comment, and press the bell icon. And always watch our Team Red Rockstars, Dr. Vidyaa Smile Dental Clinic. And with that, we come to the end of today's session. And I'm sure all of you must be having a great time in understanding what sand art was. And I would love to really appreciate all the children who have joined in here. Adara, then we have Arohi, and then we have Mehek, we have Naren and Nivedani, we have Devna and Sukrita. So thank you so much, children, for joining in. And it's always fun to, spend so much of time, quality time with all of you. And what is more amazing related to today's topic is, I want each of you to feel the sand, to touch the sand, to feel the different, irregular shapes. And as you go to the beach, you can also collect some shells, and we would have another beautiful session making with shells also. You can have a lot of shell art. And all this will just bring out the best in each of us. And it is always nice to connect with the nature. See, Mother Nature is so giving to all of us. And when we learn to preserve it and when we learn to conserve Mother Nature, it makes a lot of difference, right? So let's enjoy nature, let's enjoy the sand, and let's have a great time playing with this, right? And with that, we come to the end of today's episode at Inspiring Young Minds. And I want to thank all the grandparents, parents for being such a great support for your children and, bringing the best out of them. And it's our endeavor, both Savita and mine, to bring the best out of each of our children. So take care, children. Take care. Love you. And God bless you. Take care.